This is from Tom Brooks over there in Manchester, England. Got a lot of people listening to the show over there in the UK. Hey, Steve, after being told that it was hard for WCW to market you wearing just black trunks and boots, is there any particular reason you stuck to wearing them? Was it a FU to the people who told you that? Was it a tribute to guys like Lou Thesz and Verne Gagne who wore black trunks and boots and just got on with wrestling? Or some other reason? You know, Tom, when I first got into business, I wore all these multicolored, bright, neon-colored tights because that was kind of the thing back in the day. And I was trying to find that look. And I had that long blonde hair. And I wore long trunks back in the day. And my legs was always my best feature. Never had great shoulders, great chest, great back, nothing like that. Legs was my best feature, and I covered them up. And so finally, I got out of long trunks. I just started cutting those off with a pair of scissors because I couldn't afford to get any trunks made. And I think when I got down to WCW, someone over there talked me into wearing trunks. And that's when I started wearing those multicolored trunks, trying to come up with a design that was cool. And, of course, they sucked ass. It was some of the worst outfits ever in the history of the business. And when you look at the total package that I presented from a wrestling standpoint, I keep talking about Eric Bischoff in this show. He's coming on the show here in a couple of weeks. I was a talented guy in the ring. I was a good mechanic. But when you look at what I was bringing to the ring back then from a presentation standpoint, there was nothing about what I was presenting that said, hey, this guy's going to be a major star one of these days. And so finally, when I ended up in WWF and they wanted me to wear those green trunks that were the color of money, I did that for a little bit. But if you'll remember, and I believe this is true, when I came into WWE or F at the time, they wanted me to wear the green trunks. But I said, well, what about boots? Don't worry about boots, just wear the boots you have. If I'm not mistaken, I made my debut wearing Hollywood Blondes white boots with the black star. They didn't really give a rat's ass. They wanted them green trunks, but they didn't care what else I had on. And this is before I ended up coming up with a vest. And then when I came up with that Stone Cold idea, I got with Terry Anderson. She made all my gear. And that's when I just decided it wasn't a conscious decision at all. It wasn't because of Verne Gagne or Lou Thesz or anybody. Black is the most basic color you can get. No frills, not fancy. And I just wanted to put together a very basic look. And black's one of my favorite colors. So that's why I chose black trunks, black boots, black athletic tape. And, when I started getting the knee problems, black knee braces. And again, going back to that question a while ago, this is another one of those things that all tied in to that final look that the character, the persona, Stone Cold Steve Austin took on and was able to have the run that I do. And on a side note, to all of you guys and gals out there that are in the business right now searching for your identity, remember, it took me 7.5 years to find what I ultimately found worked for me. And sometimes, you can never be too quick to judge a talent just based on your first time or two or even first couple of years at looking and watching this person work in the ring, watching their exterior, because there I was with this long, beautiful blonde hair when I started. And then my hairline started receding. And then I got that short, sorry-ass haircut. And then finally, I buzzed it with the buzz cut like Bruce Willis had in Pulp Fiction. Then I shaved it all off, grew the goatee in, went to the black trunks, came up with the Stone Cold package, which we rang up the cash register with the proper attitude, the proper work in the ring, the proper push from a major promotion, and a feud with the man himself, Vince McMahon, and some great opponents, starting with all the guys that I worked through in there. But one of the guys who singled me out going into WrestleMania 13, Bret the Hitman Hart. So to those you people that are still out there on the road trying to take the next big step up, always keep looking and researching and watching and seeing what other guys, gals are wearing, what it's doing with their act, what's good about it, what's bad about it, and how does that pertain to you? Because little did I know when I first got in the business of pro wrestling, and I grew up in the days of the hair bands when it was cool to have long hair, so I thought that all the wrestlers had long hair. and I would find my greatest success with no hair. So always be out there thinking about your look. If you've got a good look, don't mess with it. If you can only get 3/4 way up the card, maybe you start off thinking about doing something with it to get yourself to the top of the card. Because if you're doing every single thing right, if you're a hellacious hand in the ring, it's got to come down to either your look or some charismatic qualities that you may or may not be paying attention to. Anyway, I'll jump off the soapbox, take a swig of my Belgian Beaver, and get down to the next question.